Hello, everyone. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back. We had a week off yesterday. Unpaid leave for everyone. I give them a little, week off there as I was sunning myself in Sardinia. But that's actually, sunning myself was not the word I would actually use. It was, honestly, you think we've got strange weather over there, over here. Man. And you pack because, we took all the clothes. We're thinking, it's the Mediterranean. What is the middle of the Mediterranean? Do you know what I mean? We'll catch this like autumny time. It was Baltic. It was red hot. It was thunder and lightning. The wind. I mean, we found out it's kind of a wind paradise for sailors and surfers and everything like that. But when you've got like gossamer thin shorts on and a t-shirt and you're out at 7 o'clock at night for a meal, they give you blankets. That's how bad it was. They give you blankets.
Wow.
At least you didn't have to steal the dogs, eh, Tony?
Yes. And honestly, when I was like there and I was thinking, how do they cope with the weather? Because honestly, JB, Jess, Audrey, the weather was like in the morning, red hot, 36 degrees. By tea time, Baltic. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, and I'm looking at the weather today, and it this week seems all right for them, but then the winds would come, and I'm thinking, we struggle with the weather to grow just like veg. I wonder how they do it. Do you know what I mean? What? So I haven't missed anything but I did see Mark's post on our like private one where I think in Lithgow where Mark lives somewhere up there in Scotland it was 2 degrees 1 feet and I was like,
crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's no good.
So how's everyone? How's since our little kind of last Jess? I'm itching to find out. You know what I mean? I'm itching to find out. Did it all work? Has it stopped the foxes?
Well, every bed that I've covered successfully has not been touched.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm pretty pleased with myself.
That's a feat of engineering there.
Well, you should be.
It's really it seems to have worked. So
right. Yeah. So have we got veg in there now? Then are we rocking and rolling with some autumn veg in or?
Yeah, so I've covered. I think I've done 3 beds. I've got obviously another 6 to do of the ones that don't have any arches on. But I had a load of niggles with putting this last one together because bits and pieces. Like the first 2 beds I'd attached with. I think they're called terry clips. They're like the kind of clips that you hang a hammer on the wall with in the shed.
Oh yeah.
They're like sprung clips. Well, I had loads of them in the shed, and I'd been using those. Bought a whole load of new ones, and the new ones are so flimsy. Like, because you're supposed to like push down onto them and they open up and then hold onto the pipe or the hammer or whatever you're doing. These new ones I've bought, I mean, it's like I bought them off Temu. They are just pants, and I didn't. I promise I didn't buy them off Temu. So I'm going to have to go and get some better ones of those, because the moment you push the thing down, it just folds over and it's just useless. So yeah, all those kind of things are being worked out, but I think now I'm just ready to plow on and do the rest of them. So
all Patreon donations straight to Jess this week. There, it's costing her a fortune to kind of renew every bed there. You know what I mean? Because of foxes. So I'm chuffed to bits that you found something, Jess, because it's that eternal battle. And the veg isn't surviving. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you can, you're fighting on with them, but the veg is getting battered every week, getting worse battered. Do you know what I mean? And,
I was talking to another guy on our site today, and it's not just me. I mean, this year for some reason on our site, it's just been terrible with foxes and badgers and squirrels and everything. It just seems to be so much worse this year. I don't know whether it's they're short of food and they're coming looking here, or if there's been something around the area where they've been like shut out of it. I know there was badgers moving into the cemetery area and they've bolstered that, so maybe they're heading more our direction. I'm not sure, but he has lost so much. I felt terrible, like whinging about what I'd been losing. Like every single one of his beds has been turned over. They got inside his greenhouse, they dug under, got inside and just trashed the lot. Like, oh. It's just terrible.
Are they just? I can't remember. Jess, are they just trashing it? Are they actually eating things as well? Are they just?
If it's the badgers, so like things like the sweet corn, the badgers are eating that. Yeah, they're actually there looking for the food that you're growing. But the foxes were just trashing everything. Yeah, I mean, badgers and neither badgers nor foxes like tomatoes, and yet they just ripped all of George's tomatoes like out of that side of the greenhouse. So.
Right.
Ooh.
Well, at least that's some good news. That's great news, to be honest. You know what I mean? You found like a little...
I feel really. It's just the idea. I mean, even though I've only covered like the 3 beds, just the fact that it seems to be working just suddenly feels like next year's not going to be as horrific. It's like, we've got some progress.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Have you filmed your tutorial video on how to defend them yet? Or is that still in progress?
No, but I'm hoping to do that this week, actually. Now I've got my corners sorted out and my little terry clips and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Jess,
Very
it was
nice.
Chris in the audience comments there said Jess has even got a blog post out already, or a YouTube video out already, or... Come on.
I'm normally so late, and it's normally after, because it goes to Patreon after we record this. I'm normally like stressing out, like, oh my God, it's not uploading, you know. Today I just like glided through, put it on. Perfect.
Get it on, girl. Get it on.
Love it.
Well, it's nice to have you back, Jess. It's nice to be back, actually, to be honest. It's nice
into a bit more stable weather by the sounds of it.
Hey, it's been lovely here, man. I've been up to the garden today, kind of picking things and going over things. Good crop brought home. So, sorry, go on, Jess.
No, I was probably going to do spoiler for something you were going to say later on, so ignore me.
No, well, I was just going to ask JB if he's been getting any more gardeners' cabbages to take photographs of last time.
We've actually genuinely still got that one going in the fridge. There's about a quarter left, maybe a fifth. It's so gigantic, but no, thankfully. Well, I've actually got a few of my own that I need to harvest.
That's you hit the nail on the head though, JB. Do you know what I mean? You grow these crops, you know what I mean, and then even 4 is quite, you know, I've had them 4 cabbages or 8 cabbages, the red ones. They come, you know, and you've just got to hope you can kind of somehow get through them or do something with them, prep them somehow. So
that's why like sauerkraut and kimchi are so good, because they keep for so long. It's a very good way of preserving.
Yep.
So anyway, how are you, GB? Are you good? Are you?
Yeah, good. I am really like feeling very shocked by the turn in the weather. You know, we had like 2, maybe 3 weeks where it was just so grim, and I was like, I'm done. You know, this is it now. This is the end of the season. Like, it's going to be just on the downturn. It's going to be cold and miserable forever, and it's glorious again. It's glorious. I'm like, oh my God. It's really, I've got egg on my face. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I spent a bit of time back at the allotment this weekend, and it was really, really nice. I left these headphones there yesterday, so this morning I had to pop down and get them. Thankfully, I left them in the polytunnel so they didn't get wet. But it was just gorgeous there, and it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I really wish I could just spend all day at the plot instead of having to go back home and work. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have a bit of enthusiasm back, you know.
Well, sure. JB, I was up there today, and honestly, because I went up to because everyone on my last video says, "Oh, you need a ton," because I'm thinking now, these outdoor tomatoes are on a kind of, it's a race against time. But there was a few comments mentioned, just strip them right back. You know what I mean? Just take all the leaves off, which I kind of do in the polytunnel. But I just wanted kind of hassle-free. I wanted the idea of just walking up there, without doing any work, but I've had to kind of just get in there today and just thin out. So I'm hoping this weather, because it was cooking up there, and I'm hoping if we get a few days or something like that, you know, I might just be able to kind of pull them off. But JB, you know how you've got this disease as well, this kind of fungal disease of the tomatoes. It's just bizarre because the whole plants, mine, are just dead. Apart from the sapling one we're having like a competition with. And it's a bizarre thing because I cut them all down, but they're coming as new plants. You know what I mean? So every other one is like dead, just dead rotten. But if I've cut them back, they come in as as if a brand new plant's never been harmed in its life. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I've got that exact same thing going on with the but yeah, the botrytis doesn't seem to have spread too far in my polytunnel. It's hit like maybe 3 or 4 plants, but they were the plants that never looked that healthy, which is quite interesting. All the strong plants look completely fine. There's one that was really bad, so I just got rid of it because I didn't want it potentially spreading the spores any further throughout the tunnel. But yeah, when I went, when we had the downturn, I went into the polytunnel and there was just like surface mold on everything, like all of my cucumbers, just like the entire leaf going black, like all their stems going black. And I was really like, oh, this is done. This is only going to get way worse. But actually, I kind of pruned off a lot of that stuff, and with the uptick in weather, it all seems pretty good. Polytunnel looked pretty happy this weekend, so that's good news. All the tomatoes outdoors, however, are completely blighted, so there's nothing salvaging there. But thankfully, everything in the tunnel, all good, and all the neighbours have got blight on their outdoor tomatoes as well. So it's not just me;
Well,
it's
funny,
really run rampant.
Jimmy, I've got that botrytis, whatever you call it, on some of the outdoor ones as well. But
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because it's like the season's kind of nearly over there. So anyway, Audrey, how's my favourite garden shopper, supermarket shopper? You get any more veg from the supermarket to can over the
Not from the supermarket, from the farmer's market.
farmer's market? Yeah,
I have loaded up significantly.
right.
So yeah, creative tomatoes, creative onions. Just canned some salsa verde with tomatillos
Nice.
and not orange, corn. It's kind of like a corn salsa. So I just did that and pickled a bunch of things. So I'm trying to take my distress over the garden into the kitchen and make things. So that's how I'm dealing with it.
Very nice.
Well, I seen
'Cause,
Audrey as well. You were doing a bit of the last time I was kind of over here, and you were midnight shopping. A bit of what I do when you bought some sort of freezer. But
I
it's got
I brought a freeze dryer.
right. Tell us what that is, because I've never seen them, and just straight away, mind you, Audrey, I'll put money on straight away. I was there with with the kind of can I get this? Can I do it? But then I was thinking, it's got some sort of like pump thing on the side of it. It's like it's a
Right,
big
'cause-
investment
okay,
in real estate.
No, it's not huge. Well, I mean, it's big. It's not like a microwave or anything. It's like a small refrigerator kind of size. But anyway, it really freezes the food very low. So like you might go down to -20, -30, whatever is appropriate for that kind of food, and then it heats it up so the water doesn't become water, it sublimates right to a gas. So that's how things don't get soggy and they get very crisp.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that little
Right.
pump is what helps that happen.
Right.
So there's a little pump and then a little drainage thing, and I can't wait. It's going to be here sometime this week, so I'm very excited.
wow.
And I understand that when you freeze dry herbs, they're like you just picked them off the plant. Like they lose no
Nice.
color, they lose no flavor. So I'm very excited to run that through the. I got at least 90 days before I return it, so I'm going to run that through every. I'm sure I won't, because I think I've seen enough that I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to work great. However, 89 days, man, I'm running this thing 24/7. See how it does.
It's going to be the hardest worked little freeze dryer in its
It is, and I'm going to be happy about that. So yeah, so I'm. Go ahead.
So you freeze it, Audrey. Then do you take it out and put it in your normal freezer?
No, it does. It's shelf stable at that point. It freezes it, and then it heats it, and all the the water escapes as a gas, and it's shelf stable.
You know,
So you can-
like astronaut food is freeze dried.
Exactly.
It doesn't stay frozen.
Right.
It just blasts all the water out of it at like -1,000,000 degrees, and then you end up with like a dried product that's room temperature. but
Right.
it doesn't
Right.
lose any of its joy.
So the
I
big
didn't know
thing has
that.
always been ice cream sandwiches because that was like astronaut ice cream. But you can eat it like it's a cookie.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's
it's incredible. I think it's seriously exciting to actually have an astronaut food maker in your house. It's great.
I thought we're gonna have to buy some Tang to go along with it. But,
It was the little.
yes,
It was that little pump on the side, Audrey, because that's what I was wondering. What? If it's just a freezer, but it obviously it's not. It's like
no, it goes into a vacuum, and that's how all of that can happen.
right, right.
So it's quite a cool little piece of machinery. So,
It's
So
a
what-
very, very serious piece of kit.
yes,
Like,
yes.
Advanced
So-
user level. Don't. I shouldn't go anywhere
And
near
so
it.
you can like freeze dry. You can freeze dry soup,
yeah.
and then all you have to do is add water to it to bring it back.
Oh,
And apparently, I know. Oh, you are not looking like you're buying this, JB, and
It
that's
just
okay.
doesn't. That
I know.
sounds unappetizing. I'm sure.
I
It's
know,
like,
but I'm telling you,
But it keeps all the goodies in it, all the nutrients and everything.
yeah, and
That's
not
the thing
everything
about
has
it.
to be like a puree. I mean, you can freeze dry chili, but you leave it chunky. You don't have to make it all into like a cream of chili soup. It can actually stay chunky. So I'm just excited to run this through its paces.
I'm still
Yeah.
struggling with the bean slicer. So give us one of them things.
Maybe they need to be freeze dried before you use the bean slicer.
Yes. I'm still on way level. You know what I mean? Primary school kind of level there with my preserving techniques.
Yeah.
What will you do first then, Audrey? What's your main crop you're gonna
Great
shove
question.
in there?
Well, I have a lot of herbs that I really do want to try this on. Because if I can get basil that tastes like basil in the middle of winter without having to, buy it from something that was grown in South America, I'll be very happy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've let my herbs go a bit because I know this is coming. So we will have a lot. And then I'm going to do, and this is more for my husband, I'm going to try this. He will not drink coffee without half and half in it. So some mornings he's like, oh, like we're out of half and half. I gotta go, so I'm going to freeze dry some half and half and go, see, if we're ever out, you can just add some to your coffee.
What's half and half?
Thank you, Jesse.
Oh, it's half cream, half milk.
Is it liquid or powder?
Yeah, it's liquid. It's liquid.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Is that
Yeah,
full fat
sorry.
milk? Would we call that full fat milk?
No, it's a little beyond that because it's like cream
Oh, like
mixed
gold
with
top.
full milk. So it's just like a way to not add full cream to your coffee, but it's very nice addition.
Tell your husband
Anyway.
to get off that, to be honest. That's just ridiculous. He's being a big kid drinking that kind of stuff. You want
know,
skim.
you
want
gotta-
skim like I've been told I have for 30 years.
Yeah, you got to pick your battles, Tony.
Yeah.
And that is not
half and
one
half
of
is not a winnable
that's
situation. it
not a
seems.
battle I am going to even go near. Yeah. And then I'm going to freeze dry some tomatoes and see how that works. And some my squash that I purchased because squirrels have eaten all of mine. Or I've eaten it enough that I'm not going near it. I'm going to try freeze drying that rather than canning it because I think you maybe get a better texture. So I'll keep you posted.
I'm struggling with the tomatoes then, Audrey, because will you still get that same, say, like a bolognese, you know how you told us about the bolognese sauce or the red sauce?
Right.
How would it just add water to that and then a few herbs and stuff and then it'll become that?
Well,
or?
I am gonna try to freeze dry one of my pasta sauces
All right.
just to see what that turns into and how it rehydrates. And it might be absolutely horrible, and we'll find that out. But if it's not, a thing of powdered stuff takes up a whole lot less room than a jar of it fully made. So I'm going to have to do a lot of playing around with it.
Mind,
But I
you
think,
were the last
Fascinating.
person, Audrey, I would have thought would actually go down this kind of making powdered milk and powdered veg, and that it's not.
Well, it
it's
doesn't
it's a million miles away from the jars in the pantry we're seeing on the YouTube videos. You know what I mean?
right. But I also think maybe it's a better way to do it long term. We'll see. But also, I don't think not everything's gonna be good in a freeze dryer. And so there is a learning curve. Like what works, what doesn't. When I see like freeze dried chicken or something, I just want to go, how can that be like a chicken? But people who've done it swear by it. So we'll see.
I've eaten freeze dried chicken.
Pot
It was
noodle.
all right.
Is that not called pot
Yeah,
noodle
that's
over
good.
here?
That would be like a ramen cup or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got, but I got like it was like stringy, like big pieces of it that you add water to, and then it like
Yeah.
it didn't actually
Ooh.
sound like that, by the way. I wish it did, but it didn't.
But I also thought I would freeze dry like rice that has been cooked. So then it's like minute rice.
All right.
Because sometimes that's the last thing you think of when you're making a meal.
Yeah.
It's, oh, I got to put rice on. But it'd be nice if you could just add hot water to it and you had rice.
It'd be really interesting to
What-
find out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So I was joking there about pot noodle, but that must be exactly what it is it? All that's like freeze dried, the whole because you get rice ones and everything, and they're
Yeah,
Well, and that's
Yeah.
what I mean. You can freeze dry like a whole meal. So if you have soup with rice in it, you can just freeze dry the whole thing. So anyway, I'm looking forward to a winter of great
JB's
adventure.
eyebrows are just
It's
getting
really
slowly
blowing my mind.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
really
like-
blowing my mind. Like trying to imagine a whole freeze-dried meal. Like I can imagine it in like a pouch, like an MRE
Right.
pouch.
Right.
But like, what would you do if you take your drawer of rice? How are you going to store it? Like in a jar?
In a jar or something. Yeah.
That's crazy. Just imagine walking into a pantry and instead of like all the nice fresh produce, you've got like this weird dried meal, like this row of like weird rice and stuff. It's just blowing my mind. That's all.
Well, we will see once we can actually taste it for ourselves.
I love it. I want to
But
see
I'm
more.
thinking it's going to be pretty cool.
actually
You're gonna have to do something and then post it to us so we can all have a freeze dried.
Oh,
meal.
absolutely! Because the
That'd be
first
It'd be
thing
so
amazing.
light.
the
That'd be
first thing
so
you
cool.
dehydrate is bread. That's the test run.
Oh,
So
right.
you wet it down a little bit and then freeze dry it and see how it comes out. So
Wow.
in
Yeah.
the chat, everyone's mentioning it, Audrey.
Yeah.
Because I watched the Gardener Scott one. Well, I watched it through the night, Audrey. When you said you bought it through the night, I read your post. I fell asleep, so I seen him fitting it up. I didn't see him doing the bread test. But Gardener
Okay.
Scott did a great breakdown. I'll put it together, sort of thing. So
right.
I was
I
so
love that.
close to
Real-
buying
real
it, but I
food
just
comes dry.
didn't realize what the hell I was waving my PayPal account at, to be honest. But I think Joanne was saying freeze-dried fruit and veg has a shelf stable for 25 years, for God's sake.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. If you seal them in Mylar bags, they'll last for 25 years. Now, I don't think I'm going to last for 25 years. So I'm not working on that one. But I think I don't think
It's
I
a
am.
new meaning to heirloom veg. Like they
It
get
Yeah.
past that.
Does. I'm not a prepper. I'm not I'm just trying to think of new cool ways to preserve things and
That's
Like,
amazing.
imagine
and also
sitting
make
down-
it easier on my hubby who does a lot of I shouldn't say does a lot of the cooking. He has to put a lot of it together. So I'm like, I want to make it a little easier on him.
Then
Nice.
you get to the scenario, Audrey. This is your great granny's tomatoes from the year 2024, and it's like the year 2020. You know what I mean? Like 50
Yes.
years in the front.
No,
so-
wouldn't that be hilarious? Here, Grandma made this for you when you were 3. You're now 28.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. I'll add
Enjoy.
some water.
Well, that might be a nice legacy. Leave like thousands of Mylar bags. No, I won't. I won't become the crazy Mylar bag lady. I will not.
Mind if you've got Audrey, if
I
you've
have
got
a cat
any,
already. I can't go there.
if you've got any kind of, if you've got any basil, Audrey, send it over because it'd be lovely to kind of try it. We'll each try a little bit, you know what I mean, and see if that works and what it's like if
We
it
can do a
freezes.
live potty mouth basil tasting.
Oh, and I'll have to. That'd be very. I wonder if I could get it over there. Would they let me get food over there?
With the
Maybe
no.
if it was in like Mylar bags, I might be able to.
Yeah.
Because people, I mean, companies ship stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting.
So
Just called it seasoning.
I know
Seasoning
that-
on the
actually
customs.
that's good because you can. I guess you can buy different seasonings from America. You know what I mean? You know all these barbecue. You know, Weber,
Yeah.
YouTube, kind of salting this and rubbing,
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
rub here.
Yeah,
and
imagine, JB, freeze-dried chilies.
I was thinking chili sauce. That would be good if you could condense that down. Imagine if you could ship it as well as like freeze dried, and then people could put it into their own bottles. Because shipping bottles is like the annoying thing about hot sauce.
Well,
right?
and you can
Oh,
make it
wow.
as thick or as thin as you prefer.
yeah,
Yeah.
true.
That's the beauty. You can be a thin, runny sauce or a nice, thick paste.
Can you freeze dry vinegar? What happens if you freeze dry vinegar? I've got so many.
Yeah, you can, because that's basically like what's on crisps. Is freeze dried
Is it?
vinegar. Yeah,
Wow.
like
For
vinegar
salt and
seasoning
vinegar.
on things is freeze dried vinegar.
Yeah, it just would take a very long time to freeze dry it.
Yeah.
Because you can freeze dry coffee, it just takes a long time. And you end up with like a tablespoon of coffee at the end.
Yeah. James Hoffman did a video about that, trying to make his own instant coffee a little while ago with a freeze dryer. That was pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
But that's,
Wow.
JB, what you said
What a
there,
rabbit
though,
hole.
if you could, like, I'm not just saying, if Audrey makes like a chili sauce, freeze dries it, then ships it to us, then we can have Audrey's. So it's quite a bizarre concept. If
The
it's coming
world's
just in
our
a
oyster, Tony.
little, a little
New
powder.
possibilities, new horizons.
Just add a little bit
Yes.
of water, and then you've
See,
got.
that's where my head goes. Like, wow.
It's
okay.
amazing.
Yeah. Oh, Chris is saying little white bags of powder. No,
Powder,
I'm not
yeah.
saying little white bags of powder. Sorry.
Give it instant coffee. That is just.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all freeze dried, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
Amazing.
You got your very. So it's coming this week, Audrey, is it? So we will.
yes, because I'm following it. You know, I'm tracking it. And it's in Romulus, Michigan now, which is very close. That's only like, within an hour. So I'm like, come on, let's get it here. Come
So
on.
is it an American company, Audrey? Is it, or is it like a Chinese company, or
Oh, I think it's a U.S. company.
right?
Here was why I pulled the trigger, because they're not cheap, but Costco started selling them, and then Costco had this huge sale. You got $600 off, and I thought, okay, I can take it back, no questions asked. I'm getting $600 off. I'm thrilled. Boom, pulled the trigger, middle of the night. Thought of you, Tony.
I like how you thought of me and not your husband. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't need to know. He doesn't need to know. But I'll tell Tony. Tony will be
Doesn't.
proud of us.
Yes, he will, because he would be like, "You're buying what in the middle of the night?" I'm like, you don't understand, honey. It's okay. Tony will understand. It's fine.
So the question is, Jess, if you were given one, would you use it?
If I had the space, I'd love to. Just
aye.
absolutely, I've got nowhere to put it. Nothing at all. No space.
Well,
whatsoever.
that's also one of our concerns. It's like,
Yeah.
now where exactly will this go?
yeah.
So yeah,
Because this
You'll find
pump
a home
has,
for it.
We
this
do have
pump
a
has-
second
Oh, yeah.
freezer. It's a small freezer, like an under counter freezer, and it's in the shed between the pillar drill and the where all the clamps are kept, and like that's the last bit of space in the house. So there's no chance. I
And it's got
you know
this.
how you get these, with you and your e-bikes, Tony, like somebody contacted me the other day with a laser cutter. Like, do you want to try out our free laser cutter? I was like, yes, of course I do. And I looked at it. This thing was like 1.5 meters across.
Oh yes, aye.
I was like, oh no, I'd have to like choose between that and
Yes,
having a
man.
bed.
It doesn't. You say yes and you get it, then you worry. Then you worry later. You know what I mean? I've got a. Would you believe? I've got a 2 meter desk coming. I think that raises up and down. Well,
Or is it a standee?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I told my wife because I've got this big wooden thing here, but it's like 1.5 meters wide and it's 2. So I says, Melanie, I'm going to get this little desk. Little desk, I can move it up and down. It's bigger than this one. That's coming, I think. You know what I mean? So, like, but I'll worry about that later. You know what I mean? I'll worry about
Well, you
that
can
later.
put your freeze dryer on one end of that big desk.
Yes. But you just said,
He's not-
I tell you what kind of made it my eyes water there, Audrey, is when you said it was £600 off or $600 off. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
the ordeal then.
Exactly.
If they can knock that kind of price off. So,
Yeah, no, but it was, and I was like, bingo. Speaking my language. Okay.
Right then, back to gardening. Jess, we've got these beds sorted out. I guess you're sorting out more beds. Are you sowing anything? Are you planting anything? Are you hopefully can drag
got
through
loads.
winter?
And do you know what? Yesterday for like the starter for dinner, we had a whole selection of tomatoes.
Nice.
Yes, we had some tomatoes. It was a joy and a thrill. It was really wonderful. Like,
It's
can
the
you imagine?
16th of September. It's nearly
the 16th
winter.
of September, and this is the first lot of tomatoes
Yeah.
we've got. It's ludicrous, but
Yes.
we've got some. So, and everything's starting to just look less green in the polytunnel now. You know, they're not obviously turning red or orange or yellow or whatever, but they just don't look quite so green,
Yeah.
which
Nice.
is a good
Oh,
sign.
that's lush. That's
Yeah.
lush. So, will it be a good harvest then, Jess, if it comes through?
I mean, this weather is certainly helping out. If we keep this for a week, you know what it's like. They turn so fast when they're ready to go, and the chilies are starting to turn. We've got a couple of orange chilies, a couple of red ones coming, so it's not a complete disaster. It's not going to be huge, but it's it's good. It's going.
Nice.
Oh, excellent. JB, I was going to ask you about. I've got some chilies in there, and I could just quite easily look up on. I think I might have got them off Chili Chum. Them
Yeah.
Haitian yellow ones. Are they red hot or? Because I'm saving them all.
That is the Hainan yellow lantern.
Yes.
And they are pretty hot. They're like
Are they?
habanero hot.
Oh, what? Yeah, that.
So they're like, they're not stupid hot, but
They're hot, yeah.
You wouldn't want to eat one raw
Are
unless
they-
you were feeling brave.
Oh no, I'm not brave.
And you
Are
had
they-
a glass of milk to hand.
Are they hotter than the Ring of Fire?
Yeah. About 3 times.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're meant to be a really good sauce chili. So I've just
I
had my
love them.
first harvest, and planning on making a. Chili Chump makes one called One Punch Knockout, and that's the one that he uses his Hainan Yellow Lantern for. And it's plum based. It's quite Chinese, Asian inspired because it's a Chinese chili pepper. So he uses lots of plums in it, and I might try and make something similar.
Right.
I was hoping to do that with my own homegrown plums, but you guys know all about my plums and my plum issues.
Hey.
So no plum harvest this year, unfortunately.
I was watching, one of Chili Chum's, where he's kind of making like a salt brine for the, and I was thinking, it'll be like a couple of weeks and he'll have a sauce. Man, it took, the process he went through to get the end sauce.
Yeah.
He even has this special mixer that just,
Oh, the stir plate.
yes, just with a little magnet in like a science experiment,
Yeah, that
and he
is
has
really
going
extra.
for,
You
he
don't
has
have
that
to
going
do
for
that.
weeks.
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 Wow.
Yeah, so the stir plate just emulsifies. Basically, it makes the ingredient. There's something about it somehow. If you stir the ingredients for that long, the vinegar and the the solids properly emulsify, so it won't separate when you bottle it, which is quite a big selling point for a commercial sauce. Because if you sell a commercial sauce and someone gets it out their cupboard 2 months later, you've got half his vinegar at the top and half his sauce at the bottom. It just turns a few people off. It's completely fine. You just do that and it's back to normal. But like if for proper emulsification, stir plates one of the ways to do it. But it's very extra, very extra.
Yeah, no, it was. I was like, God, this is a long process. I didn't want that. I'm quite prepared to kind of say do 3 weeks fermentation of a chili, but after that, I want the thing. Do you know what I mean? The next when I start cooking it, I want it done, ready, finished, put away.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
How is your fermentation going, Tony?
It has gone since I sent that photograph to you. So we're probably on now 8-9 days, and it's got the kind of yeasty, whitey, milky water at the bottom. You know what I mean? So there's no fuzz. I keep on burping it. My son was burping it while we were away.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Who was looking after it when you were away? Because you've got it with a little flip jar, right? And you close it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and mind you, at the first few days, there was nothing. You know what I mean? But now you kind of you touch it and you bang it. The bubbles just kind of, you know what I mean? So,
it's so cool. I love it. Mm-hmm. Haven't got any going yet this year.
Well, I'm hoping this ring, because I took all the seeds out, JB. I kind of bottled it. Took all the seeds out and the kind of white pith, because I was going for I was trying to make them as mild as I could to make a sauce.
Cut it right back.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But so them other ones are kind of, because I'm getting a good harvest from them Haitian yellow. What is that? How do you pronounce it?
Hainan
yellow ones.
Hainan.
You know what I mean?
Yellow lantern, yeah.
Yeah. So
I tried one, but it wasn't quite ripe. So I'm not sure how they taste yet. They're meant to be really tasty, just fiery.
Right. The freezer's full of them as well. So another batch I did a couple of weeks ago. So mine, I tell you what's seemed to be dragging. The piri piri just seems to be like the odd one coming. And I guess I'm trying to drag it out. They're a big plant. Do you know what I mean? It's like 5-6 foot tall, but
oh blimey!
Lots
I find piri piri do take a little while to ripen.
Are they just tiny little chilies, piri piri ones? Are they just like
they're smaller than much smaller than a ring of fire, and they point upwards.
Yeah,
that's how you know it's a piri piri. They point towards the sky.
Just little dots, really, like 1.5 inches or something. I was thinking it's a lot of work there, just like picking them.
Oh, they're really small.
Yeah.
Talking about the pointing to the sky bit, so I went to Newt this week, which is like a big. They make cider there, but they have orchards, and it's a very fancy, stunning vegetable garden. And orchard was amazing, but in their vegetable garden they had a couple of things that were labelled something that I'm growing, but looked absolutely nothing like it. And one of them was the lemon drop chili. So my lemon drops are growing dark green, directly upright, and then as they start to become ready, they drop down, and then when they're about that size, and then they go bright yellow, but they start off green and skyward. And these ones that were also named lemon drop were rather than the really vibrant yellow that mine go, these were like a pale lemony sort of colour, and they started off yellow and pointing down, and then they just grew bigger from that point. But they were labelled lemon drop. So I was just wondering if there's more than one of them, or if one of us has got it wrong.
I think that lemon drop has become one of those really popular peppers. It's on a lot of people's kind of first time grow lists. If you start growing your own, it's one of the interesting chili peppers. So there's probably a lot of very interestingly sourced seed out there that isn't quite true to the original lemon drop or the ahi lemon,
Yeah, the ahi lemon is the first one I grew, and it's always been green and then go that really strong yellow colour.
Yeah, most of the
was very odd, and they were slightly curved, these ones that they had, and a really pale lemon. It just seemed a bit strange.
Yeah, interesting. I've never heard of them starting yellow. They normally always start green. Yeah. But interesting.
Jason's saying in the chat that there's a Peruvian lemon as well. So So what?
Yeah, I can believe
Jess,
it.
are there a hot chili? Are there? Or?
I'd say between a jalapeno and a habanero, they're about halfway-ish. I mean, I
Right.
don't know what the actual statistics on it are, but when I'm using them, I would use them as a halfway point between the two.
That
And
sounds
what-
like a very hot one.
Is it?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
they're hot. They can ruin a dinner if you put too much in.
oh wow, yeah, they do sound
Yeah.
they sound quite spicy.
Yeah.
Normally the ahi lemon, the Baccatin varieties, a lot of them are normally around kind of 30 to 40,000 Scoville. So jalapeno is like 5,000. Habaneros are normally around like 300,000.
Oh
And
wow!
then you got Ring of Fire, Cayenne. So Cayenne is like 30 as well. So that's like
Okay.
it
Oh,
gives
I
you a
would
bit
say
of
the
heat
ones,
if you.
whatever it is that I'm growing, is definitely hotter than a cayenne.
Oh, interesting. Very
So maybe it's
interesting.
me who's got the wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got an extra hot lemon.
Yeah.
The Ring of Fire are about 70 to 80k Scoville. So that's a
Well, that's a
good little
spicy
benchmark.
pepper.
Yeah, Ring of Fire is.
Yeah, that's
It does
spicy.
pack a little punch.
Yeah.
It's like a cayenne that's been bred to just have that extra kick behind it, but very similar flavor profile to a
Okay.
cayenne. I love Ring of Fire. It's so
Have I
good.
done the right thing then, JB? Taking the seeds out, will that be like a milder?
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Ring of Fire makes like just one of the best sauces. It's like one of my favorite. And are you going to do a vinegar? You're going to mix it with vinegar?
Well, actually, I've never even thought of that yet. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. You know, I was just going to go through some YouTube videos and see what.
Yeah.
But if you've got a, I'm not so keen, JB, on like these, on like a watery sauce. You know what I mean? I like a little thing that looks texture of ketchup.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, or sriracha.
Well, it's up to you.
Sriracha is more like, you know what I mean? That I'm not
Yeah.
like the vinegary looking ones that are kind of runny. How do I dip
Tabasco
my chips? How do I dip my chips in that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just need a bowl, a small little bowl to hold it. That's why.
Yeah.
But no, you'll be fine. You can either, with a fermented sauce, you could either add some of the brine, which I don't really like to do. I like to strain the peppers and then blend them, and then add vinegar to taste or to texture. But some people do just add the brine, but I find that just gives it a bit too much funk for me, and probably a bit too salty.
Any sugar?
But
Any sugar or not? Or
no, you want to be really careful adding sugar because you might kickstart the fermentation when you bottle it.
right?
So if you've got fermented peppers, most of the natural sugars will have been used up.
Right.
So when you bottle it and close it, it's safe. But if you add a load more sugar, it's like brewing cider or wine or something. You'll get carbonation, and if you add a bit too much, then the carbon dioxide builds up from the lactobacillus.
Right.
And you can have some exploding hot sauce on your hand, which you do not want. It's not something you want to be trying to clean off your ceiling, which is surprisingly common when people do fermentations.
All right, I'm gonna hit you up.
I was cleaning cat food off my ceiling the other day. For you know those little, I don't know if any of you've got cats, but they come like, they do these little like treats that come in like a little sachet that's like a long sachet. I think it's called like a cat yogurt or something. Anyway, we had a problem under the sink, and I pulled everything out quickly to try and fit it, and then stepped backwards onto one of these things, and it just went like that, straight up over everything. It stank.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I think I'd rather hot sauce actually than cat yogurt.
Is your kitchen all complete now, Jess?
God no.
No.
No, there's been no progress since the last little burst of progress, so we just wait. And the guy came round and he was like, yeah, sorry, it's the summer holidays, we don't have anyone to do anything. All right, that's fine.
Man.
but it's usable at this point.
It is usable, yeah.
There you go.
It's just that we've still got everything still stacked in the sitting room because we can't get it back into the kitchen because the cupboards don't have all the stuff in them, and
yeah, so it's inconvenient,
it's
but
usable.
usable.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Jess, before I ask Audrey this as well, Jess, do you make a chili sauce with these lemon ones?
No, I don't really eat a lot of chili sauce. I have Tabasco in my bovril. That's about it, really. But I do eat a lot of. What's that face, JB?
No,
Don't you
I
go
was
judging me like
expecting-
that.
I was like, it took a little while for my brain to catch up with what you just said. Then you're like, yeah, you have a little bit of Tabasco. I'm like, yeah, that's not a Bovril. Wait, what?
Yeah, Tabasco in bovril is one of the finest things in life. But
Amazing.
but I make a lot of chili jams.
All
A
right.
lot of chili jams, and the lemon drop made both the best chili jam I've made, and it also made the best chili powder. So good, really, really good.
Nice.
Audrey, are you making any hot sauces from your bought chilies?
Oh, now I have plenty of frozen chilies in my freezer right now. But I did get habaneros, which are in my dehydrator, and I might do something with those and a fruit, because my daughter and her husband like that combo. So I might make that for them. I'm a Frank's girl,
Yes.
so I just love
I'm a
Frank's.
Frank's guy. Yeah.
I love Frank's. So if I really, I mean, we get it at Costco. We get like these ginormo bottles of it. That's really my go-to with hot sauce. Is Frank's.
Is Frank's runny? Is Frank's like a vinegar? Or is it like more like a chip sauce?
I think it's in between, like
I would say
ketchup,
Frank's is quite a runny one.
but it's in between like what's the Tabasco and ketchup. To me, at least. But it's very dippable. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
It'll make a puddle on your plate, but it won't be like ketchup. It won't have any, height.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I
just
also
looked on,
I like
sorry, Karen.
truff. Have you guys tried truff?
No, I've never heard
It's
of it.
hot sauce with truffles in it.
Oh wow.
So good. It's called truff. But it's not as hot as Frank's, but has a little bit of a kick. And very tasty.
Interesting.
That one pours like a ketchup, Tony.
Right.
So maybe when you're late night shopping tonight, you can find some.
Did you see me, Audrey? Did you see me banana ketchup bottle I found in Phoenix? I was going to get it for Jess as a surprise Christmas present, but I just got the vomit gif.
No, I did not see that.
Yeah,
And
but
I
that was
would never. I don't think.
the one. That was the company that was on this like TV making this banana ketchup. But that bottle, because it was in Phoenix, was Phoenix Food Hall, which is just like we buy. As a treat, you can get like the big chunky Toblerones from, I think it's B&M Bargains or I always get them too much. B&H Bargain, £3.99. The same bar in Phoenix, $12.99. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Just,
so I get it. I get it.
you
So
know
the
what I mean?
the banana hot sauce was a few.
Oh, it was. I think it was $8.95, and it would probably last. If I liked it, it would probably last 4 platefuls of chips. Do you know what I mean? That kind of like
Yes.
gung, and it's gone. You know what I mean? So I daresn't buy any to try it.
Yeah.
JB, are you?
I just looked up. Oh, I was just going to say I just looked up Frank's hot sauces. It's not one I know, and I was very confused. I misread the main title on their page. That I thought the notch said crotch. It's not. It's got this big thing up there that says, but it's in a funny font. It's like kick it up a notch, and I didn't read notch. I was like,
Kick it up
what
the
is
notch.
this sauce? It's like, it's all right. I've
Frank's is
reread it
good.
now.
I recommend it next time. You can get Frank's in like every supermarket.
I've
to.
sort of now I'm looking at it. I've seen it, but it's never really registered.
Yeah, it's a great go-to.
Is it just called Frank's hot sauce, or is it different? Because
Yep.
I'm sure there's different hot sauces by Frank's. So it's just Frank's hot sauce.
Yeah,
Right.
the original
Red
one
Hot
is
Original, I think it's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah,
Right.
it's really
Yeah.
good.
Try some of that.
Very
Nice.
good.
I might have a look for it.
I like that one, and Cholula is my other. I'm a big fan.
What was
Which
that
one, JB?
Cholula. It's got a little wooden bottle stopper on the
Oh
top,
yes,
which is
yes.
quite good. Very similar though.
And
Nice.
I would have thought that Cholula one, is that not a hotter one, JB, is it?
They're both pretty mild. I think they're both quite similar for me.
Right.
But Frank's is definitely on the lower end of the. That's like normally the mildest sauce I'll have in the fridge, ready to go.
And my husband looks at that and goes, "How can you eat that?"
Really?
Oh yeah, he's not a hot sauce dude.
Frank's is just great. It's like eggs and pizza. Like it's a real all rounder. Love it.
Egg.
Wait a minute, JB.
Always eggs. Yeah.
What?
Eggs and
eggs
pizza?
and hot sauce. That's like. No, not eggs. Not egg on pizza. No,
Right.
sorry.
No, but that's kind of what it sounded like.
No,
What?
sorry. Like they're the two go-to. I think if I think pizza, I think Frank's. If I think eggs, I think Cholula. They're like they're perfect pairings for me.
Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking he's having eggs on pizza. For God's
No,
sake.
egg on pizza is not a. You do get that sometimes, like right with like a niçoise.
Florentine.
If you had a
Well, particularly if you get a breakfast pizza, you'd have that on there.
full English breakfast pizza. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
we went. I remember we went on holiday once with our friends who have just been on there. I think we went into Venice somewhere, and we had sat down for pizzas. And Darren, my friend there, says, "Oh, I'm getting the New York pizza. I'm going to get the New York pizza." And it came pizza, white bechamel sauce, and chips, and that was it. It was man.
Yeah, when we went to Italy, it was really common. Like, Jess would ask for chips on this, like, as a side, and it would always come on the pizza. It's like a thing. I don't know.
In New
Very
York, I
strange.
don't think that's a thing in New York.
Oh no!
And they
The
don't have
Italians
white
think it
sauce.
is.
Yeah, they don't have white sauce either. But anyway,
Nice.
Anything else before we wrap this puppy up? One last
Hey,
thing.
yes, I wanted to ask about tomato varieties and what everyone's favourites are of the season so far. Because, I mean, it might be a little early for you, Jesse, so I apologise to put you on the spot. I'm not sure how many that you've had, but I've got like 3 outstanding varieties so far this year. I was like, is that 3? Yes, that's 3. Paul Robeson, the one that you sent, Audrey, stunning.
yeah.
The absolute like most fantastic mouthfeel that I've ever had in a tomato. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just stunning.
It's like if tomato were butter. It'd be
Yes,
butter.
exactly.
Yes.
Yes. I've never experienced anything like it. I'm
no,
like
it's really good.
evangelical about it. And I can't wait to grow it again next year. I should probably
Paul Robeson,
harvest some
right.
of my own seed. Yeah, that's
Number
a
2.
Baker Creek one. I've just harvested some, but I've also got the indigo blue chocolate, which looks quite similar. So I'm not sure I'll be able to. I'm making mental notes to try and harvest my own seed because it's Baker Creek, so you probably can't get it in UK. Anyway, the other one, Lithium Sunset. Have you tried yours yet, Jesse? You're growing
No.
one of those, aren't you? Have you grown those, Tony?
Yes.
Did you rate them? That for me, top 3. 100%.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it. It was one of the best tasting tomatoes
What's
I've
it
ever
look
had.
like?
It's like this amazing sunburn orange and red. It's kind of like vertical stripes along the tomato. Just stunning. One of the best tasting, best looking ones I've ever had. Really,
Wow.
really rate it. It was very kindly Grown Local sent me one from his own personal seed collection because he really rates it. And yeah, I was pretty impressed.
What sort of size is it?
It's like chunky, fills your hand. One of those.
Oh wow, big,
they're good.
chap.
Yeah, big chunky boys. You only get kind of 4 or 5 out of a plant, I found, but they're kind of like an heirloom. Really rate it though. I was really impressed. I did a taste test on one of my videos, and it was like it's slightly smaller than my hand, but got really carried away and just ate the whole thing. It's just like, yeah, it's that good. And then my third one, I think for me, is Rosella, which is one of it's like a dark
really?
cherry. Yeah, it's like a black cherry.
Yeah,
But I
I wasn't a great fan of Rosella.
Really? It's got like, for me, like a little fruity little fruity, slightly light something. There's like a depth to it that I've never had.
Do that again, JB, like a
little fruity. little, little zesty. It's a little bit of like a blackberry vibe, or like a I don't know. There's just never had anything like it again. It was a real standout for me. And I grew black cherry as well, which was pretty good. And I did black Russian, but I think there was a mix up with seed somewhere because I had loads of comments because my black Russian looked like black cherry, and I had loads of comments saying loads of other YouTubers have had exactly the same thing. So I thought I just messed up my labels, but apparently there must have been someone at a seed factory somewhere has made a little blunder, and they've got all their black Russian seeds mixed up. But they were my top three.
Well,
honorable mention to Rose Crush and also Alice's Dream.
Alice's Dream, the ones that I got were lovely, to be honest. I didn't get that many. Do you know what I mean? There were, like, the green ones hadn't really kind of turned, but I did get some. That was good. The pork chop, which I was really looking forward to, I didn't get that many. Do you know what I mean? So,
Do you not?
I think it was more just like, is it a heirloom one or not? Or because I just didn't. That starts to annoy us when, you know, you just mentioned there, you get 4 tomatoes off a plant. It's just like, that's not worth my effort.
But if they're big tomatoes,
Yeah.
Well, and if they're fabulous, like sometimes you gotta.
Real estate is just
well worth it.
What was that, Jess?
I would say 4 big, good quality tomatoes off one plant is definitely worth it.
That could be like 2 kilos of tomato, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But then that once you've kind of, you know, once they're gone, where I was hoping, you know, like to take a plant through, you know, my idea was to take it through the winter, do you know what I mean? Or as close to kind of winter as possible. I've had a fun, and they've been lovely, mind you. The Black Moon tomatoes that I got from Grown Local, they were just like lovely, absolutely lovely. And I think there's another. I might be getting them wrong because my labelling went all the cock. All the labels faded. I think it was called Bliss, which was like a little cherry tomato.
Yellow.
All right, well it's not. Then it might be. It wasn't Consuela. It might be. It was one of them that Ian sent us from Grown Local. It was just like a little red.
Bliss was one of the ones I picked yesterday. I thought that was really nice.
And is this
a yellow?
It was yellow, but quite big.
Yeah.
About this sort of size.
Oh, right.
Really nice pointy shape. It was a really lovely looking tomato. It had green streaks on it as well. And then, really nice, like fresh tasting. It was a lovely one.
I would like to. I'll hit Audrey up again to try, because Audrey sent me a couple of years. Audrey, you sent me a couple of years ago the Paul Robeson one, and that was a good one. You know, like a good fruiter as well. You got more than just the four fruits, but I remember that thing, and that's a nice tomato there. So
Yeah, it's very nice.
I've had a bit of a kind of crappy. Brad's Atomic haven't been tasting that nice this year as well. I don't know what, you know. I don't know if it's anything to do with that kind of fungal infection, but
are you pulling them too early? Or are you having them too early?
They're not.
Okay.
I don't know, Audrey. It might be a load of different scenarios what's causing it, but they just didn't seem to have that kind of funky taste. You know what I mean? It's got like a certain taste where you think it's like sweet and it's got a little kick, little punch, and I just wasn't getting it. You know what I mean? I wasn't.
Yeah,
sorry.
I had that last year. Right, I had exactly the same thing. My Brads are really bland, and I was like, I don't get it. And this year they've been really nice, and they've got that sweetness. Last year they had no sweetness whatsoever. They were just quite watery, but they've come good this year. So maybe they're just a bit variable.
Oh, it might be toddler. That are the little ones, which are lovely. To be honest, I'm getting loads of them. I think it was actually toddler. So that's been I'm only going off what's been a good cropper. Do you know what I mean? Because like I'm hindered.
I'm going just on flavour.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm kind of hindered. But Audrey, what's yours? Go on.
One of the big surprises for me was that Starfighter Prime. I absolutely enjoyed that. I was shocked. I wasn't sure that was going to taste like anything. It was a beautiful tomato. They're beautiful, but I really enjoyed the flavor of that.
Is that?
I've got so many of them coming. I'm so excited.
Nice.
I haven't got one yet. But...
Is this, Audrey, when you say Starfighter Prime, is this Rebel Starfighter?
Yes. It's all,
Right.
Yeah. I just can't keep the order
Right.
of those words right. So, yeah, very, very. I was very surprised by the taste. Very
Well,
nice.
that was
Um,
the main Audrey, that was the main one in when I first did your red sauce. That was the bulk of what I made the red sauce with. You know what I mean? And
okay.
the red sauce was
Yeah.
out of this world. To be honest, out of this
Yeah. No,
world.
it's a very good tasting
Uh-huh.
tomato.
And that, like I say, that
Another
red
favorite.
sauce, Audrey, I was using it for pizza bases. We're using it for bolognese. We're using it for like all sorts. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Anytime I need a red sauce, that's what I grab. The other one that it's kind of a standard for me is purple heartthrob. It's a dwarf, produces absolutely gorgeous, delicious, dark heart-shaped tomatoes. And this year, my black beauties have been phenomenal. So
they?
yes, so
It's nice.
those have creeped back. But Robeson is always like a fan favorite for me.
I
And
just checked
Brad's.
my notes
Yeah.
for my tomato tasting, and Paul Robeson was the first one I did, and I wrote "instant king."
Yeah.
That's for me. It's the king of tomatoes for me, instantly.
Yeah,
Love
it's just always a good producer. So probably I have 5 then, I guess, not 3, but yeah, glad to have any and all tomatoes that come out of my garden.
yes,
Sure.
any will do.
Any
Yeah.
that come out, and also I think I have 2 fruit coming on my sucker challenge.
Oh, do you?
Mine got blight and died.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm not winning the sucker challenge, folks.
No, mine are right out there, and I see fruit. So I'm thinking we got 80s temperature wise for the next week and a half. So I'm thinking
Audrey,
we might
that's
get
not
them.
gonna. That's not. Is it like little? Is it a proper sized tomato?
Yeah, it's a good sized tomato.
Well, we must be neck and neck then, because I've got tomatoes, but we'll just have to wait and see. Do you know what I mean? We'll just have to.
Oh, Tony, do not. We could
I'll
be.
take your tomato and match it with mine, girl, lads.
Yeah, we will see. But I was very happy to see those little, shouldn't say little, those large green heart shaped fruit on my suckers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well then,
Oh, I'm so looking forward to the rest of them going red.
I can't believe
on,
it's so
sunshine.
late for your harvest,
Yes.
Jesse.
Yes, I know.
it's funny. I just picked the last hurrah from the polytunnel is gone there now. So that's it. Apart from like the suckers and the odd plant that's going green, lovely and green, but I'm just letting them go. But that's it.
How are your sweet potatoes? How are your sweet potatoes going in
Well,
there?
they're still there, Audrey, but I'm sure
Okay.
Jess was saying just leave them to and forget about them until I guess November or something. I was going to just aim for. So
I noticed the other day on my the 30-litre tub of sweet potatoes, and I actually forgot about this. It's like hidden in so much vegetation, but there's an entire sweet potato that's grown above ground, and it looks really like mutated. It's sort of started, and then like all these new leaves and the vines have started coming out of it. It's really creepy. I was like, what?
Cover that one
Put it
back
back.
up again.
Put it back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, bury that in deep. Yeah.
So I'm hoping there's lots of good stuff going on under the soil. in
it's
the
still
greenhouse
early,
one.
isn't it, Jess, to pick them? Shall I wait
Well,
a bit?
Yeah.
And your greens will start to not look so lush. They also
wait
will start
wait
to
until-
they'll start to yellow, and
Right.
because I'm noticing mine, because I think I have 8 clumps of them along one of my back beds, and the foliage is starting to show signs of, yeah, we're maybe at the end of our life. So,
Right.
Oh,
Right.
interesting.
but I'm gonna let them go till probably mid-October.
Yeah, everything's still looking green on the sweet potato front here.
Yeah, mine too.
We will wait and
In
see.
fact, they've grown up between the aluminium and the glass in the greenhouse. So it's just,
Yeah.
it looks like it's trying to get out. It's like this on the glass.
Mine's similar.
Yeah. It's lovely.
Right then. Right.
Very
Next
good.
week. We will see each other. JB, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at naturallyjb on YouTube and Instagram
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Jesse?
and Patreon.
Okay.
I'm out of practice. We had 1 week off and I've lost it.
All donations to Jess this week to get help. I get
Yes.
the gear.
Send me
Where
your
can we
cherry
find you,
pics.
Jess?
On YouTube at Jessie at Plot 37 and Instagram, same name, and Patreon also same name.
There you go. There you go. And
Awesome.
the wonderful spendaholic Audrey.
I'm at realfoodcomesdirty.com, YouTube, Instagram, and I have revived my Facebook. So we will call it Facebook as well.
Right. Well,
I know.
thank you, everyone that's in the chat there. Ashley, Chris, Jess. Well, no, Jess is there again. Been lovely, Fran, Nicola, Jason. Yes, everyone there. Look after yourselves, everyone. Take good care. See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks all.
See you later.
Bye.